Students, I am extremely happy for you stay connected with my lectures. Your response is overwhelming and appreciative. Your queries and doubts prove that you are finding or you are also spending quality time. Today I will take doubt clearing class as I have received till date or till today the doubts from my students and doubts related to a tiger in the zoo, how to identify rhyme scheme. Students get usually confused to identify rhyme scheme and identify figures of speech. But it is not a difficult task at all. It is an easy task if you comprehend and listen to my lectures well. Let's start with the first stanza of Tiger in the Zoo. Here, the first stanza tells he stalks in his vivid stripes the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his square edge. What I had told you in my lectures while I was delivering a tiger in the zoo, I think you can remember well that you put the letter A of the sentence of the last word of the sentence. So if you put letter A stripes and if it immediately rhymes with the very second line, then it will be regular. But here only in case of cage and rage that follows regular rhyme. So if I put the letter A, then immediately it does not rhyme with the B, that is A. So it will be then next letter B. And now third case quiet, it will be C. And the second sentence, that is last word cage, rhymes with rage. So naturally it will be B, B. So altogether rhyme scheme will be of the first stanza, it will be A, B, C, B. I think I am clear. Similarly, in the second stanza, he should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass. Near the water hole, her plump deer pass. Similar is the case as like that of a first stanza. Here also A, B, C, B, because here grass and pass, and grass identified by letter B, and that rhymes with the fourth line, that is the last word of the sentence pass. So grass and pass. And in this case, third, fourth, fifth stanza, similar cases are followed. So it is altogether general rhyme scheme of the poem is A, B, C, B. Just you see through your screen that houses, age, clause, blaze. So here again A, last word is houses, put letter A. And second, that is called sentence, last word is age, that will be B. And third sentence, last word is clause, that will be C. But last sentence, last word is village, so naturally it will be B. So it is again A, B, C, B. And similarly, but he is locked in a concrete cell, strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cell, ignoring beaters. So here the cell A, next B bars, and third that is C, and fourth is again B. So A, B, C, B. This is fourth stanza that I have explained it, how to identify it. Now in the final stanza, he hears the last voice at night, the patrolling curse, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So here cars and stars, that B, B. So if we put letter A night, then A, and immediately second letter, second sentence, last word is curse, B, and third sentence, that is ice, but there is no rhyme. So rhyme means it does not rhyme with the immediately, so it will be naturally C, and last word of the last sentence is stars, that is cars and stars. So it is also A, B, C, B. So in this poem, general rhyme scheme is followed is A, B, C, B. I think with my efforts, you can understand what way you have to identify the rhyme scheme and how you will be successful. Now, I like to switch over to the next doubt of my student, oxymoron versus paradox. oxymoron, and there is a thin difference between this oxymoron and paradox. But paradox, what is paradox? These figures of speech, both paradox and oxymoron, figures of speech based on contrast. Contrast means opposite. So what is a paradox? Paradox actually a sentence or even a group of sentences, while oxymoron is a combination of two contradictory or opposite ideas set all together. That I have told you, when two opposing ideas are juxtaposed, that means set side by side. So in the case of paradox, paradox is a statement that is outwardly contradictory, but it implies a truth or sense. Similarly, seems contradictory to its greater truth, but it does contain an implied truth. Truth here is implied. And in case of oxymoron, that combinations of two words that's set all together. But in paradox, that combinations of words, it is a sentence. Most cases, the opposing ideas or sentences, opposing ideas or sentences or phrases in the sentence, most cases never come all together. Just like this. Here, in a case of oxymoron, when we will also give you some example, then it will be clear to you. So, in case of oxymoron, may produce a dramatic effect but does not make sense. But in case of paradox, it does contain an implied truth. So, this is the basic difference between oxymoron versus paradox. But I like to say you there is a slightest difference between this, because these both the figures of speech are based on contrast or opposing statement. Now, I will give you the example of paradox, one each. Paradox, failures are the pillars of success. Here, the highlighted words, just you see, failures. Though the hand sentence is highlighted, but especially the word failures and success. That is actually outwardly contradictory, but it implies the sense that you had seen in my previous lectures. How the failures, that is your experience, as a step to whom? Step to reach success. So failures or success which seems to be contradictory actually implied a truth. That's why I have taken the examples of Big B. That's why I have taken the examples of, that is our great Swamiji, the how through the gallows of failures they ultimately have successful. So this is called implied truth of the paradox. Similarly, other example, child is the father of man. In apparently literary, you will also be confused. How is it possible, sir? Child will be the father of man? Actually, no. Child actually the would be father. The qualities, everything that are now seen in the child. Then one day he will be the wisdom or wise like fathers. That's why, though apparently it seems difficult to take, but implied truth when you will understand, that you will see the child is the father of that, and there is some underlying meaning. And in case of oxymoron, again I would say kind cruelty. Here just you think of, or you think of or read of that kind cruelty. Both are opposing each other, and very word kind, that is an adjective, and cruelty, that is an abstract noun. So here combination is, that is noun, that is called here adjective plus kind is adjective plus noun. Similarly, living death, here also the adjective plus noun. So here just I had given you example, he is regularly irregular. So both are opposing. These set of words always grouped all together, that is set side by side. So this is the difference between paradox and oxymoron. Now I'll also go to the next, that is antithesis. This is also one of the best means of examples of figures based on contrast. Here this literary device means the setting of one thing against another, but the statement is open, that is explicit, and which implies contrast, which contains an implied contrast. Example, man proposes but God disposes. Here the very word proposes and disposes, these are setting of one thing against another. You know, if the man proposes, but it will not, that is called get its finally or finality, if God is unwilling. So this proposes and disposes, that has an implied contrast. If God unwilling, despite man willing, man will not get successful. Similar example is to err is human, to forgive divine. Here through err, or to commit mistakes and to forgive. is divine. That is also example of antithesis. You can get confused. How is that possible to committing errors that will be also forgiven? Because if someone has done, that is called errors or committing mistakes, that's why he is in the work. But those who are working, if they happen to commit mistakes, God definitely also forgive, or man or that wise man definitely will forgive. That's why this quality is divine. This quality is rare us, because the moment you make mistakes, we are ready to criticize you, but that is not the proper truth. Implied contrast, underlying meaning is to err is human, but to it is for the human to make mistakes. It is quite natural. So taking this case of natural, we have to forgive him. That is our divine quality. So this is called antithesis. Again, I would like to say, a literary device means the setting of one thing against another's. It is an open statement, explicit statement, and that contains an implied contrast. Now, finally, I would like to say two, that is onomatopoeia. This is actually what I have told you, that is sound makes the sense, a figure of speech consisting or grouping such words that echo their sense through their sound effect. I like to explain it rather easier way. This is a use of sound words that are similar to the noise. They represent a rhetorical effect. Example, click. Example, tick. Example, budge. Example, rattle. So when the teacher say, hey, don't budge in the class. So buzzing sound, budge or buzz. But here the sound is sound effect. Tick, time is ticking away. But you know, ticking sound is referred to the clock. And yeah, again another example that I have told you, that our echoes roll from soul to soul. Why I like to deliver a speech or deliver a message as if my message is echoed and my purpose is to reach you. Then my purpose is to transmit from soul to soul. From soul to soul. So this is called, so particularly echoes related to the sound effect. But here it has got an rhetorical effect. Example that I had told you in the previous lectures, that example of rhyme of the ancient mariner, after the coming of, you know, that albatross, harbingers of hope, and it is very well read poem written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. And that example is, the ice was here, ice was all around, and it cracked, it growled, it howled, it roared. So this splitting of the iceberg, there resembles the sound of, that is called animal sounds, and it does create an artistic as well as rhetorical effect. So this is called sound imagery. In literature, there are so many imageries, visual imagery, sound imageries. So it is the one of the sound imagery. Through the use of sound, we can have some rhetoric, we can have some artistic effects, we can have some literary flavor of the piece of poem. So this much today, I think, and I hope that I have cleared your doubts altogether. And still, let's stay connected with my upcoming lectures that will also get ready within 2 or 3 days. Till then, thank you, all the best. Okay.